Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel and another top 5. This top 5 is tanks that just can't win according to their statistics on blitz stars. Now, it's funny enough, all of these tanks are tier 8. They are all tier 8, and I think they are all medium tanks in tier 8 as well. So very weird that these tier 8 medium tanks are just not winning in the game. And the first one is the STA. Now, of course, this is a Japanese tier 8 medium tank, and it has a 46.22% win rate. I think it's over the last 90 or so days. That's not a lot. In fact, that is the 5th lowest, or it's actually the 6th lowest. There is one that is like number 3. That's the tank says unknown, so I don't know what tank that is. It says unknown. It could be a new tank. It could be a test tank. I'm not sure. So we're going to ignore that tank, and we're just going to add the other tanks that are in that list. So the STA. I like the STA. I kind of enjoy the STA. It's got a nice gun, doesn't have no armor, although we are going to bounce a few shots this game. But yeah, it's along with the other mediums in tier 8. Yeah, you can understand that it's not as superior as some of the other medium tanks, but the gun is good, penetration is good, speed pretty decent. It really only lacks the armor, but as you can see, it's a very difficult tank to play. If you're a newbie or not as experienced, then yeah, I can see that this tank is quite hard to play, and when people are playing this tank, they are not winning. Now, we do actually win that battle, but we're going to head on over to the next tank, which is the Indian Panzer, another tier 8 medium tank. This time it is a German tank. Now again, I kind of enjoy this tank. It has a 45.82% win rate, not high at all. I mean, I can understand why people don't do well in this tank. If you're not a good player, this is actually a very difficult tank to play. It's not as quick, and I think that's where this tank struggles. It's got decent pen, I think. It has decent armor profile for a medium tank. The turret's quite strong. Other than that, I don't think there is anything really wrong with this tank. Like I said, I enjoy playing the tank, but for newer players, especially newer players, it can be a difficult tank to play. Now, when I'm in the Indian Panzer, as I've said, the DPM is fairly decent. Nothing really wrong with the DPM. The armor profile for a medium tank is fairly decent. But when I come up against an Indian Panzer, it's not a tank that I am afraid of. I'm more afraid of something like this Dracula running around than an Indian Panzer. So again, I can understand. I was not surprised when I see this tank in that list. So 45% win rate, or 46% global or win rate over the last sort of 90 days. I can sort of see that, and as I've said, I wasn't surprised one bit when I see this in that top 5 list. I do end up losing this game. As I've said, it is a difficult tank to play, and the speed is not up there with some of the other mediums. It takes a bit of time to get to that speed, which is why I couldn't cross this river. I would have loved to cross this river, and if I'd have had backup, I would have crossed this river. And if I was able to cross the river, maybe this battle would have been a different outcome. But because I couldn't cross the river, I was stuck in the middle, and this T-49 had this side of the map covered. So next up, it is the Persian, and again, this is a 45.44% win rate. And again, I don't like the tank. I mean, this game, I don't really perform that well. I bounce a lot of shots, I miss a lot of shots, but I do actually bounce some damage on my tank, quite a bit of damage, in fact. But it's not a kind of tank you sit there and think, you know what, let's play the Persian. It's not a great tank. It really isn't a great tank. I don't think the speed is there. The armor profile is not there. The DPM, I suppose, is not there. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest. And it's definitely a tank that I wouldn't sit there and think, you know what, I'm going to play the Persian today. And again, like I said, I can understand with newer players why this tank is so difficult to play. it is a difficult tank to play. And I mean, any of these tanks can made to be look good. It all depends on who's playing it. Any bad tank can be made to look good. Now, this thing, I suppose, has a little bit of armor on the turret, not too much. As I said, I'm not quite sure about the penetration. I think the penetration isn't as high as some mediums as well. And as you can see, like when you're in the position where you're sort of hold down or you're angling, then yeah, you can get those bounces, but it's a tank that you can't really rely on bounces. Says me, who's just bounced 1200 damage in my tier 8 medium. But though that's not really the tank. I think that's just the mediums, the people that we're coming up against. So again, we are going to lose this game, and I mean, we was doing all right, actually. If I would have managed to save some hit points, if I would have maybe gone to a different position, maybe this would have been a different outcome. But the Persian, an American tier 8 medium tank, is something that I did expect to be in this list, to be honest. Again, it's not a tank that I struggled to come up against, and it's not a tank that I am scared of. Now, at 45.18%, it is the Centurion 5-1. This tank, I was very surprised about being in this top 5. Very, very surprised. I absolutely love this tank. I think it is a fantastic tank. Has great armor profile. It's got great DPM. If you can get yourself in a hold down position, then you will do very, very well. So I'm not sure why people are not winning in this tank. I think it's mainly because they are not playing it properly. They are playing it as a outright DPM tank, going and just losing their hit points, where you need to play it more comfortably. You need to play it in a position where you can pick up those bounces, get on a ridge line. We do manage to stay alive here, just literally within 20 hit points, and we do manage to take that Tiger out. And that's what I mean, the Tiger is a tier below. If you're in open surfaces, like open areas, and you got tanks around you and you're not hold down or anything like that, then yes, you're not going to bounce as much. But if you can get yourself on a ridgeline using that gun depression, this has an amazing turret, like a really, really good turret, and it has that great DPM, and you will start winning. But you go out in the open, just like this Emil here. This Emil has a great turret, fantastic turret. But when you put your tank in a position like it is in now, then yes, it was not going to perform very, very, very well. Now, the bottom of the list, number 1, the most lost tank at the moment is the Panther 2 at 45.07%. Now, Wargaming have buffed this tank, so I'm quite surprised that it is down there, especially like being the worst tank to win. But I like this tank, you know, I do enjoy it. Since Wargaming buffed it, they buffed the, I can't remember what they buffed, I think it was like the armor profile or something like that. It's still not the best of tanks, and again, I can see why people do lose in the tank. You need to, it's a DPM tank, you need support. Doesn't have the best of armors, but it does have enough armor to bounce some shots, but not like the Panther 1. The Panther 1 got buffed with its armor profile, and that tank is kind of OP now. It does have a very strong armor profile, where this one hasn't got quite a strong armor profile as the Panther 1, but it does have a little bit of armor. It has the DPM. And overall, I am surprised that this is the lowest win rate tank at the moment in the game. So are you surprised at any of these in the list? If you are, leave a comment in the description. Let me know what tanks you thought would have been in this list. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy. I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.